Why, hello there, everybody, and welcome back to GSL English. My name is, of course, Gideon, and in today's lesson, I am going to give you 10 phrasal verbs that you can start using every day to help you sound more natural and fluent when you have conversations in English. So thank you for joining me in today's lesson, and if you are new here, you are most welcome. Thank you for watching along. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel because every week I am here to help you speak natural, fluent and confident English. And today we are going to do that by looking at 10 phrasal verbs. Now, phrasal verbs are essential if you want to speak fluent English. I use them all the time. So we want to understand them. But the problem is there are hundreds of phrasal verbs out there. And sometimes, we think, where do I start? Which phrasal verbs do I even learn? Well, don't worry. Today we are going to keep it nice and simple, and I'm going to give you 10 phrasal verbs that I like to use every day and that you can start using straight away in your conversations in English. So just as a note before we look at phrasal verb number 1, please remember that phrasal verbs can have multiple different meanings depending on the context. So for each of the phrasal verbs that we are going to look at today, I am going to give you one meaning and one situation or way that we can use this phrasal verb. But if you want to look up the other meanings to each of these phrasal verbs, then that is a great exercise for you to do when you are studying the English language. So that's enough of me talking. Let's get into daily phrasal verb number 1. And that is to come across. To come across. What does that mean? Well, if we come across someone or something, it means that we met or encountered it by chance. It wasn't planned. We didn't necessarily have an arrangement to see that particular thing or meet that particular person. For example, we could say, we came across this fantastic bar on holiday. Maybe you were walking around the streets in Rome. I don't know, maybe you were on holiday in Rome. You didn't really know where you were going or didn't have a plan of where you wanted to visit. But then this lovely little bar selling nice chilled wine was just there. You came across it by chance. You weren't particularly looking for it. Or as another example, we could say, where did you come across this old picture of me? Old pictures often come out at the weirdest of times, don't they? So imagine that someone presents to you an old picture of you from 5, 10, 20 years ago. Well, where did you come across this? Where did you find this picture by chance? And we can use this in a multitude of different settings when we meet or encounter someone or something, often by chance. Even as a question, you'll never guess who I came across the other day. Accidentally met, saw, or spoke to. So that is phrasal verb number 1, to come across someone or something. Phrasal verb number 2, I like to use this one all the time, and that is to drop by. To drop by. And this typically means to visit or stop by a place briefly. And we often do this without an arrangement or appointment. We just drop by. So, maybe you just drop by a friend's house. You drop by your parents' house for a cup of tea. As an example sentence, we could say, I'll drop by your house after work to pick up the keys. Maybe tomorrow it's your job to open up the office in the morning, but you forget to collect the keys today. So you say, I'll drop by your house. I'll very briefly pop by. I'll very briefly visit your house after work and pick up the keys. So it's not so much of a formal arrangement. It's seeing someone or doing something very briefly without an appointment or arrangement. Or as another example, we could say, why don't you drop by our office sometime? We'd love to see you. Great one to use with a potential customer or workmate. Drop by our place. Don't have to make an appointment. You don't have to make an arrangement. Just drop by briefly, for a cup of tea or a coffee. We would love to see you. So that is phrasal verb number 2, to drop by. The third phrasal verb that we can use every day is to bring up. To bring up. And the meaning that we are going to look at is to mention or introduce a particular subject. And sometimes we use this phrasal verb when it wasn't always wanted. We weren't really supposed to bring up that particular topic. As an example sentence, I can't believe he brought up their financial problems. It wasn't necessary. Meaning, why did he bring up? Or, why did he relate certain information or introduce the topic of their financial problems? It wasn't necessary. So perhaps in a business meeting or even a conversation with friends, someone decided to introduce the topic of another friend or workmate's financial problems, to bring up, to introduce a particular subject. Or as another example sentence, we could say, if there is anything else you'd like to bring up, then please do. Maybe at the end of a meeting, a boss might say, look, we've got 5 minutes to spare. Is there anything else you'd like to bring up? Is there another topic or point you would like to introduce or mention? Brilliant phrasal verb, to bring up. Or maybe even with the friends, if there's something that we need to talk to them about, we could say, look, it's something I just wanted to bring up with you. Something I wanted to talk about, a point that I wanted to mention. Okay, phrasal verb number 4 is to put up with. To put up with someone or something. And this means to tolerate or endure something unpleasant or difficult without complaining. So it presents the idea that we're dealing with something that we're not complaining about, that isn't that nice, or that is frustrating, or that is annoying. As an example sentence, we could say, the roadworks are essential, so we're going to have to put up with the noise. And I use this example because it's happening to me at the moment. They've decided to do all of the roadworks in my street at night. So it needs to be done. I understand that, but the noise is ridiculous. But it's got to be done, so we've just got to put up with it. We have to tolerate and endure this difficult situation. There's no point complaining about it. Or perhaps we could say, I don't know how you put up with your boss. She's so demanding. So maybe we have a friend that is telling us about their boss, and we were thinking, well, I wouldn't put up with that. But your friend does. She doesn't complain. So to put up with, to endure or tolerate a difficult or unpleasant situation. Now, just at this point, if you would like to use these phrasal verbs in the comments, in any sentence, give it a go. I will try and get back to as many of you as possible. So try using these phrasal verbs in a comment below and I will get back to you. Okay, phrasal verb number 5 is to check out. To check out. And one meaning of to check out is to examine, investigate, or look into something, often to confirm the information that is involved or its accuracy. I'll give you an example just to make this a little clearer. Can you check out these figures before we finalise the report? So perhaps you are going through your accounts at work, looking at the numbers, seeing if everything adds up. So you say to your colleague, can you check out these figures? Can you look into them? Can you check that they are correct and accurate? Or maybe, we could say, I'll check out what time the event starts and get back to you. So I'll research the information. I will look into it. I will check out what time the event starts. Maybe it's a show or something like that. I'll look into what time that show starts and then I'll get back to you. Phrasal verb number 6 is to find out. A little bit different to check out, to find out. Because this sometimes happens without us even knowing. We didn't ask for this information, but it means to discover information or to learn something. Sometimes with making an effort to do so, but sometimes without making any effort. We just find out some information. For example, I've just found out our flight has been cancelled. Maybe you're at the airport, you get a little notification on your phone, flight cancelled. The worst thing that can happen. So you just found out. Or we need to find out if the restaurant is even open on Sundays. We need to look into it. We need to find this information. We need to find out if the restaurant is even open on Sundays. Maybe you, your friends and your family are looking to go out for dinner on a Sunday. Well, before you make any plans, you need to see if that restaurant is even open on a Sunday. Brilliant phrasal verb, to find out. Phrasal verb number 7 is to get over. To get over something. And this means to recover from something. It might be an illness, a particular setback, or an emotional difficulty. Basically, we get over some difficult time. As an example sentence, it took me weeks to get over the flu completely. Flu is like a really, really bad cold. You can't leave your bed. Awful, horrible. It took me weeks to get over it, to recover from it. Or he's still trying to get over the breakup. It hit him hard. Sometimes when a relationship ends, it isn't easy and it takes a long time to recover from that situation. He's still trying to get over it. So in that sentence, hasn't quite recovered yet, but is still trying to do so. Great phrasal verb, to get over. 3 more in this class. Phrasal verb number 8 is to run out of something. And this means to have no more of something. Okay, the supply is completely empty. Have you ever been to your cupboards in your kitchen? You're looking for something and you realise you've run out. One of the most frustrating things. For example, we've run out of milk. I'll pop to the shops and get some more. Here in England, if you want to make a cup of tea, you'd like a little dash of milk in it. The worst thing that happens is once you've boiled the kettle, you're ready to go, there's no milk. It is the worst thing. So to run out, to be completely empty of a particular thing. Or perhaps in an office. This happens all the time. How have we already run out of ink? I only replaced the cartridges last week. Cartridges is those ink kind of cases that we put into a printer. So how have we already run out of ink? How is the ink supply empty? I only replaced them last week. Another good phrasal verb to use in a multitude of different contexts. Okay, phrasal verb number 9 is to hang on. To hang on. And this can mean to wait or pause for a short period of time. For example, hang on a minute, I'll be right back. So maybe you're on the phone with your friends or family members and someone's at the door. Oh, hang on a minute. Just wait a minute. Please pause for a moment. I'll be back. And then in response, you could say, take your time. I'll hang on. I'll hang on. I'll wait a moment. Sometimes we can use this sarcastically. Yeah, no, that's just fine. You take your time. I'll hang on. Sometimes we can use it sarcastically, but generally, we just say, yeah, I'll hang on. No problem. To wait or pause for a short period of time. And the final phrasal verb that we are going to look at today is to get along with someone. To get along with someone. And if we get along with someone, it means that we have a friendly relationship with someone, sometimes to a large degree, we're really close, we get on really well, or sometimes on a bit of a surface level. I'll give you two examples. I get along with my co-workers very well. You work with them, but also your friends. You can have a laugh. You get along with each other. Or we could say, despite their differences, they manage to get along. So you might have two people that are very different in their personalities, the way they see things, but they manage to get along. They manage to stay friendly with each other. So great final phrasal verb, to get along. So there you go. 10 phrasal verbs that you can use every day to help you sound more natural and fluent in English. Now, I encourage you to write down these phrasal verbs. Try using them in the comments. Try using them over the next week, because the more you think about them, the more you use them, the more likely you are to remember them, and they will become part of your vocabulary. So, if you enjoyed this lesson today, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up, say hi in the comments, and if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to my channel. I am here to help you reach your English learning goals. But thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all very soon. Have a good one, guys.